So basically I'm making a kind of a box, a long column, square column. We start with the small ones. You take a square like that, and you just sort of hook that one in there. Get the hammer. I'm not sure if the camera's getting this, but anyway, just hit it like that. And then take the other small one, hook it up. And hit that. That goes like that. Okay. And we'll do that the same with this one. Check it's right. Okay, that's correct. Hit it with the hammer. Ow. Kind of hurt your hands when you do this because of the vibration, so it's better not to touch it. So that's that. Like that. That's the smallest one. Okay. So these are joined together in a really very simple manner, using these little wire clips, bits of wire. So sort of the first one is about there. This music is Norman Blake. He's an American guitarist and singer-songwriter. This is a new album he's produced. He's often connected to flat picking, guitar playing, and he's actually one of the great American guitarists. He's had some medical issues, and so this particular album is much more relaxed, and in fact I like it a lot. You can buy ready-made sort of structures, but I needed something a little bit smaller than what was available, and also they're actually quite expensive. And this is, whilst it's a bit fiddly, it's not actually that hard to do.
Well, friends, back in the old steamboat days on the river, they would hire people that lived along the river to keep a light. The name is Little Harbor I live in, where the steamboats go
Have to
round and around.
rearrange things a little bit just to get kind of all in a good position. You can see that a bit better there. Right. Okay. So that sort of looks like that. Okay, it's a bit too dark really. Where I'm working is very dark, so it's probably not worth filming, putting the metal actually in the leg, but I guess that gives an idea. There's a view of where I'm working at the moment. A place called Carros. So this is my studio. It's very good, but it's a bit dark. No lighting. And everything will be the legs when they're finished. This is the last leg I'm doing now, so tomorrow I will start transporting the legs to the site where we're going to build the rest of the table, and it's in the permanent condition, the permanent position, which is over about 200 meters in that direction. Much brighter place. This is this is what's going to go inside the leg. Normally I don't use stones this big, but in fact that only goes down about 10 centimeters. The rest of it's actually like that. So it's 3 stones, 2 sand, 1 cement, and then a bit of extra mix there. I haven't, and about one bucket of water, and that's enough to do it. Well, this is the first one out of the mold. This one down here on the left here. They're quite heavy, so they're not very easy to move. This one is okay. It's not perfect by any means. I used some larger stones in this mix, and on the other 3 I decided not to. This is you can just see, that's the back side, and this is the little wooden plate which will come out later, and the threaded bar, the tish filter, is in there, and this will be covered up with concrete later. The base is nice and flat, which is good. And here we can see the impression of the shuttering, the chafardage. The base of the table is about here. So a lot of that is inside the table, and I'm quite pleased about that, because that is mass that's already made now. We don't have to, when we put the table top on, in a sense, all of that mass is not being, that weight, we're not having to add. Okay, and all this steel work here will be used to thread to the table, to connect the steel to the tabletop. And this threaded bar, the tish filter as they call it in France, is for leveling. That's for leveling the table. Each of the legs has got one of these. Well, this is the site of the final resting place for the table. And as you can see, it's very beautiful. We've got the Alps Maritime over here. The difficulty at the moment is just getting it level, finding the right place for the legs. We just need 4 small, just see the area at the base there. Each of those points has got to be level, and I'm hoping that I've found something that's almost correct. One of the difficulties with making this table is the plateau, the top of the table, the flat part, the tabletop is extremely heavy, and you've got to get it level. So one of my solutions to this problem is to put these threaded bars in each of the legs, and this will help me to be able to level out the top. Well, that's the idea anyway. Well, it's not all sunny in Carros, and today's, in fact, we've had a few days of a few days of very, very hot sun and a few days of mixed weather and rain. And today is one of those days. The work at the moment, mainly I'm working on sealing the mould for the top, and down here is what it's hard to see, but all around here, all of these areas have to be sealed. They'll be all sealed with hot glue. So basically I'm putting pieces of wood over the gaps and then lots of hot glue everywhere. And hot glue is really good at just resisting just about everything. Here we've got some good fixes there. Here, not so good, but that'll get filled up as well. All of the this is sort of like the decoration, which is similar to Le Corbusier's city radius, and that'll be finished off up here and a bit along down here. Then underneath, quite hard to fit. It's probably difficult to see. But in here we've got to fit more support, more strengthen the wood basically, and that requires quite a lot of time and effort. This little generator, well, it's not so little, is in fact really good, but it makes a hell of a lot of noise. But that saved us because we haven't actually got any power here at all. So that's handy. But the problem is you got to lug it around with you, so it's impossible to sort of pack away at the end of the day. So I chain it, or whenever it rains, I chain it onto here, cover everything up with the bash, the tarpaulin, and put all the tools away back in the car, and then come back when the rain has stopped. So the whole process can become quite a drag, really. And here, underneath here, you can just see we've put a little bit of stabilizing cement down here to try and get the legs all level. Okay, that wasn't very easy either. In fact, not very much of this job has been easy. So when something actually goes relatively easy, it's like a gift from God. It's really nice when something goes easy, and because you really appreciate it. Well, it's Sunday, and I've just finished doing all of the I guess I've done the flooring, I guess you might call it, which is all of this wood here, and then that's waxed and polished, and then in around the concrete, I've put. I don't know why I keep saying we, it's just me. I've put hot glue all the way around. So that's bunged up as close as I can with wood, as tight a fit as I can, and then just to seal it I use hot glue. Then all of this is waxed and then buffed up so that we get a good release, so it looks like that beforehand. And then all of these joints here are filled with silicone. Underneath we've got like 2 layers of wood here. This is just to give a really good support. And then I'm not sure if I'll put some hot glue in there, maybe. And then the next stage is to put the metal on. That'll be for tomorrow. And this is the metal here. The work is going very slowly, mainly because I'm having to do everything on my own. That's just the way it's worked out this time. Last time I had some assistance, and it's amazing just how much faster that makes the work go, because all of the little things that you need to do, basically you can only do one thing at a time, and so everything just takes much longer. At least 3 times the same length, 3 times the length, then you get tired, so that makes things even slower. But still, it's a beautiful place to work in. Over here we've got, this used to be the border with Italy down on the river there, and that runs down to the sea, which you can't quite see, which is not very far away. It's about 15 kilometers, and there's the airport there, and Nice is just over the hill. And here is the beginning of the Maritime Alps, and it's very, very beautiful. Every day it's different. It's really inspiring to see all of these things. So that would be the frontier with Italy, just in those clouds over there. And normally we're seeing a lot of snow up, but it's all covered up by the clouds. And here is Carros. And that's the village of Carros up there. And that building with the flag on it, that's the chateau. That's where I'm staying. And that's also the museum, the art gallery, which I did a show there a couple of years ago. And this piece here is in relation to a show that's going to be opening there in a few weeks' time, all around the 50th anniversary of Le Corbusier's death. Well, I'm just putting the steel in now. Everything's been sort of hot glued. This is a kind of void, just to save on concrete, and that's been hot glued down and then waxed up. It's MDF, but with the wax on it, it should be fine. And then we've got this metal structure, and there'll be more metal coming on top of that. The steel work is all held together very simply with these little pieces of wire, which is something I quite like about the simplicity of it. Just twist it around like that. Because it's the concrete that holds it in place. We've just got to keep it in place long enough for the concrete to get hard, and then everything else is done by the concrete. All of these have got to be a minimum of about 3 centimeters away from the surface. Well, we finished the steel. Well, I finished the steel, and as you can see, there's a lot of it. Quite possibly too much, but it's on now. Go a bit closer. So everything is held together with these little twists of wire. There's a frame here supporting the steel, which was quite useful actually. And there's just a lot of steel, and then the steel from the legs here comes up, and we'll just join everything with the beton. Everything just gets connected together, and everything needs to be 3 centimeters away from the edge or thereabouts. And that's about it really. So now all we have to do is just just prop up the base and then pour the cement, and I'll have some help with the cement this afternoon from John Paul, which will be good.
Allez, là c'est costaud.
Merci Jean Paul.
Bon. D'accord.
Well, Jean Paul and me, we had a little moment of panic, or more me having a moment of panic. We didn't think we had quite enough gravel to finish the job. We've had some problems with the gravel supply. Well, as you can see here, we've got the concrete, the beton in, and it's about 2 centimeters all the way around from the top. And we're going to do one more machine load of gravel, sand, and cement in the center here, and then after that we'll let it dry just a little bit, and then we're going to put the finishing layer on, which is just sand and cement. And everything seems to be holding up all right underneath there. There's a few leaks coming through, but nothing too dramatic, which is good. This is the table, what they call the orientation table, and basically it shows all of the altitudes, the names of the mountains, everything. We're here, so I guess maybe they'll even make a new one day. I don't know. And if they do make a new one, maybe the table will be on it. This is the village of Carros. And here, this in fact is the Italian frontier, which I made a work about last time I was here. A musical work, taking the taking notes for the elevate, for the horizon. So these would be high notes, low notes, high notes, low notes. That was a piece called the Descent of Mont Blanc, because in fact this frontier runs all the way up to Mont Blanc. It's a 500-kilometer frontier, and then to the sea. Well, it's Friday now, which is 3 days after we poured the concrete, and the table's been covered by this tarpaulin, this bash for those 3 days, and now I'm going to undo it and take the shuttering, the coffage off. This wooden little structure was basically to keep the tarpaulin off the concrete while it was wet. Okay, this is the surface. I decided, I think I mentioned before, or maybe not, that I wouldn't be trying to get a perfect surface, because trying to get a perfect surface is extremely difficult. It needs to be polished with a machine. So everything is just by hand, just with a trowel. And so we can see the marks of the trowel on it, which in fact are quite beautiful. And we've even got some nice mountains up there, which kind of fits quite nicely with the work, really, with the landscape. As you can see, you've got, I don't know if you can see it, but a couple of sort of skyline mountains there, and you've got the mountains over here. So that's quite in a way, that's quite appropriate. Okay, so here, this is the shrinkage. I would have thought there'd be more shrinkage than that. These little holes, they're all air bubbles where air has come up to the surface. Now they can be filled if needs be, but I don't know if they do need to be filled. So here's a first glimpse of what it looks like inside, and this the first glimpse is quite encouraging. I have to say I am quite nervous. You can see in there's some imperfection, but that's acceptable. A little bit of sticking, some sort of sticking has gone on, which is not so good. Okay. So, first signs are that it's quite good. Not a bad result. I mean, that's, you can see all the glues coming off. This is the that's the I don't know if we can see that. Okay, that's the mould. Just run through that before we look at the concrete surface. And you can see here where concrete's pulled off. That's probably, not entirely sure why, but why it does that there. So that's not bad. That's not bad. It's acceptable. We can see quite clearly the design, the shape. Some places better than others, but it's present, it's there, and that's good. And there's no, so far on this side, there's no major deformation where for some reason something didn't, for some reason the sand and the cement didn't get into a little corner and it was just pebbles. But it seems okay, so I'm happy about that. This is the cavity in here that supported this part of the table, and you can see how all of that's done. And this has remained quite dry in here, which is good. The main thing is you have to stop water from escaping. Okay, they're stones. They're poked through. Okay. I like to try and make little videos of the works that I do, particularly the processes. And I guess that's because, for me, that's part of the work, that's part of the art, really. Not so much this notion of process, because that word's become just too easy to use, and doesn't sort of lost its meaning, people talking about process, etc. I think it's more just a case of sharing something, and the experience, sharing the experience. of making art or of just doing things, which I think is a very important thing. Well, here we go. This is the side. Let's see how it is. It's not too bad. I think that's because it was a little bit drier. The mix was a bit drier there, so we've got a little bit of imperfection there. But in fact, that imperfection is rather beautiful. You can see it. You can see the little stones. That's gonna dry out fine. And in fact, it seems pretty good. I don't know if we can see that. I can't see anything through this with the sun. Okay. There's the ants that seem to love this work. Maybe it should be redesignated as a work for animals, but then maybe humans are animals. That looks fine. These little bits here to just pull off. These are that's what they look like. They're the for giving the texture that, to the surface. Step back a bit. That's okay. That's good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if you can see this, but throughout the building of this piece there's been lots and lots of ants, and they clearly like this structure, and as you can see they've laid a lot of eggs just here, and now they're picking them up and taking them away, but of course they don't really know where to take them. It's quite sad really. But this kind of fits with the name Unité habitation. But it's amazing how committed they are. You know, they're looking after the next generation. If only politicians had the same interest in humanity. Well, the table's finished now, and all the mould is taken off. These are the pieces. You can see that's underneath, one of the underneath bits. This is all from underneath. There's quite a lot of wood used in constructing it. You can see the two side panels. I'm very pleased with it. It's come out very well. Have a look underneath. Everything's okay. There's no major sort of mistakes. Everything's just about okay.